Welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast, the photo imaging industry's leading news source. Here's your host, Gary Pageau.
The Dead Pixel Society podcast is brought to you by Media Clip, Photo Finale, Advertech Inc., Got Photo, Printbox, Photobook.ai, and the IPI Member Network. Hello and welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. I'm your host, Gary Pageau, and today we're joined by Phil Mazzilli from Qualcomm, but he's here on behalf of the Mopria Alliance, which is an industry group dedicated to bringing printing to mobile devices. Hi, Phil. How are you today?
I'm great, Gary. Thanks.
So tell me a little bit about the background of the Mopria Alliance. I think a lot of our readership probably or listenership have not heard of the Mopria Alliance, but you've actually been around for quite a few years and involved in a lot of mobile devices.
Yep, that's very true. We were formed in 2013. The founding member companies of the Mopria Alliance were Canon, HP, Samsung, and Xerox, and really they had a vision to bring the entire printing industry and really the entire mobile industries together to make printing pretty seamless from your mobile devices. They've really expanded since then, and now I think there's somewhere between 20 and 25 members representing not only printer manufacturers, but operating system vendors, independent software vendors, hardware vendors for mobile side. So there's a lot of members, and I think a lot of industries are well represented.
What platforms is the Mopria Alliance? What platforms do you support?
So, we create standards for printing, right?
Okay.
And those standards are available to anybody who's a member of the Alliance. And currently, our membership includes Microsoft, and they have taken our standards and implemented that in the latest versions of Windows 10. So there's one. We also work closely with the Android team at Google. And right now our standards and their basic default print service in the Android devices also support the Mopria standard.
Yeah, and we're going to want to talk about that a little bit later because that's where we have some actual news. Mm-hmm. So why is something like the Mopria Alliance even necessary? Why can't everyone do their own thing, right? When it comes to what is the value of a standard like that?
Yep, definitely. So really, it's all about making print as easy as possible for as many people as possible. So what we're trying to do is align different operating systems and printer manufacturers under a single set of standards, so that you as a user can be ensured that printing is going to work. It's going to be simple, regardless of the device you're on, Windows PC, Android phone, or tablet. Mm-hmm. And the Mopria Alliance really enables that and makes it possible for users to get the printing capabilities they need without having to install some printer-specific or manufacturer-specific software. Really just getting it out of the box from their device, either.
That's always been really puzzling to me because I've been knocking around the printing world for ages, and it's stunning to me how difficult it is to print from devices, or it used to be actually, with install a driver, this is no longer supported, and everything else. So does Mopria address some of those issues?
Absolutely, right. So that is basically why the Alliance was formed, and we've expanded beyond that to some other stuff. But was the initial driving force behind our formation, right? So, that's the idea. Is you've now got all these printer manufacturers that support this single standard. Mm-hmm. So, and you have these two major OSs, right, Windows and Android, that also can support those standards. Mm-hmm. So, when you sit down at your PC, if you're going to print, you can print to any Mopria certified printer.
Right.
When you pick up your Android phone and you want to print, you can print to any Mopria certified printer, and there's 4,000 of them, 4,000 models.
So how does someone know if they have a Mopria certified printer? I mean, is there a branding, a licensing,
Yep.
logo, or something like that?
Yep. So we've certainly got a logo problem. The easiest way for a person who's already got a printer is just to go to mopria.org and check the list.
Okay.
The printers there, and you can sort by manufacturer and name and this kind of thing. But if you're thinking of getting a new printer, we do have a logo program. So, for consumer side printers, you're going to find the logo on the box. For big printers that don't actually come in boxes, you can find it in the literature. Our logo and note that it's Mopria certified.
Now, it seems like you've been focusing on OS level implementations of operating system level implementations of your standard. Is now, considering that you mentioned a mobile platform that's not among the alliance, apparently, is there a way for a application provider to incorporate the Mopria standard within their application, or does it have to be at OS level?
So,
like specifically iOS, if you want to print from iOS, can you print from Microsoft Office and iOS using the Mopria standard?
You can print from Microsoft Office and iOS, but it's not using anything provided by Mopria.
Okay. So it's really an OS level thing.
Yes, we would love to do more work with the Apple side of things, and we're working on that, but I can't really share much more.
Sure. But, when you talk about, large platforms, you do have an announcement that just came out about Android 11, which I think is very exciting because Android 11 is due when?
It came out in September.
Okay, so it's very new.
Yep.
And Mopria is built into that. So can you tell us a little bit about that? And, unfortunately, one of the things with Android is not everyone always implements Android in the same flavor, right? Is this so baked in that device maker can't screw it up and do their own thing, or is this beyond that?
So with Android 11, we updated existing functionality in the Android operating system called default print service. So that's been in Android since Android 8. This particular version introduces some new functionality that really makes it a lot easier to print, and we can get into that, what the new changes are.
Sure.
But to get back to one of your questions, Android is a very pretty customizable by manufacturer, right? You can even
fluid is another word.
Everything about it. So it's not it is possible to remove the default print service before leaving the factory, right? And some manufacturers do that, and we do have solutions if you want to print that. If your phone didn't come with printing,
right.
But it is in there, and it is offered to all manufacturers, and whether they take it or not, that's really up to the individual manufacturer.
But I guess again, I'm not a device maker, but I would think if you've already built this and done the work, why would I do my own? I guess.
Yeah, that's and I think that if you look in the market, you'll see that most devices do keep this functionality in. But for some real small, almost feature phone style phones, maybe they would take it out just because it takes a little bit extra overhead, a little bit of memory.
So what are some of the newer features then of the latest implementation? You mentioned there were some changes. So what are some of those?
Yep. So the biggest new feature is called share to print. So in previous versions of Android, if someone who was developing an application wanted to enable print on that application, they would have to actually add a print button.
Right.
And it would hook into the default print service where it would print. Now, what Android has done, and actually what Mopria Alliance has done with Android, is to get rid of that need for a print button with certain file types. So if you have an image, JPEG, PNG, whatever, you can just share it with the print service now. So if you're used to using social apps like Facebook or Instagram, you're used to sharing photos.
Sure.
Now, once you tap that share button, in addition to seeing, let's say, Facebook, if you're in Facebook and you tap share, in addition to seeing share to email and share to a text message, you'll also see share to a printer. And you tap that print button and it will print. So that's all brand new in the
Nice. So it's really, like you say, you've removed the impetus for a developer to have to build that functionality in. So what is the process for setting up a printer on your device if you're a consumer?
Okay, so our solutions work over Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi Direct.
Right. Okay.
So if you're setting up a new printer in your home or in your business and you put it on your network, the default print service will find it if the phone is on the same network.
Right. As long as it's one of these partner printers. So, you've got Brother, Kyocera, OKI Data, et cetera.
And we're estimating, well over 90% of printer manufacturers are involved with the Mopria Alliance. So.
Yeah, most of these names you would see at your local Office Max or Best Buy.
Yep, exactly. So if you're on the Wi-Fi network, if your phone's on the same Wi-Fi as your network as your printer, you're going to see it. If your printer is Wi-Fi Direct enabled, but it's not on your network, you'll also see that. So if your phone has Wi-Fi Direct capability, which most do.
Now, you mentioned earlier images, and a lot of my audience are primarily in the photo or complex compound document space where you're doing images and text. What are there any image editing features built into this, or is it just the sharing function? Like, for example, if you want to do very simple things like crop and some of the things, turn sideways format for the page and those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean it's very limited to basically taking what image you've already provided and then saying this is how I want it to look on the page. So you can change if you're printing to letter paper for some reason. You could say I want this to take up as much space on the paper as possible, or you could keep it in portrait mode. Those kind of changes are controlled by the default print service. But as far as editing, any kind of heavier editing with your photos, that's going to have to be done in the application. And that's the good part about this share to print functionality is applications which never added a print button, you can now print, right? So you can use applications to do your editing and then print.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of like a lot of the social apps, for example.
Yes.
Your Snapchat, your what have you. Weren't really focusing on hard copy printing, now have that available to them.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So yeah, I'd say that this opens up printing to thousands of apps, maybe more.
So, well, that's great. So is there any other ways people can get more information if they want to be involved with the Alliance?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, you can go to mopria.org and check out, what we're doing, what we're all about. There's information about what the Alliance is and what we're doing and the standards that we're driving. If you're a user and you just want more information about how to use the Mopria print service or how to use the default print service, you can go there too. It's pretty packed with info, but I think it's pretty easy to use. So hopefully you can find what you're looking for.
So you're trying to straddle the world of being an industry information site, but also providing information for
exactly
as well. Yeah, that's a tough row sometimes. Well, thank you, Phil, for your time. I appreciate it. Have I missed anything?
No, I mean, the only thing is I would say that Mopria Alliance is not a household name. So this kind of opportunity is always great for us to talk about what we're involved in, what we're doing. And although Mopria Alliance is not a household name, I would say pretty much, well, at least in the United States, almost everybody has something that's got Mopria technology inside of it in their household.
Okay.
There's about 2 billion devices worldwide that include Mopria technology in one way or the other, either in the Android operating system, in the Windows operating system, in their printer. We're not big on saying, Mopria Alliance did this, Mopria Alliance did that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like Intel inside and stuck on every device you ever see. But Mopria inside is something you want if you're interested in printing. So
I agree.
There you go. Well, thank you, Phil, for your time, and look forward to learning more as you share more of your achievements over the years.
Awesome, Gary. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. Read more great stories and sign up for the newsletter at www.thedeadpixelssociety.com.